and you guys are gonna get a lot of information. I'm gonna go over some little bit of history on why I did another webinar. And then I'm gonna we're just gonna be mainly dealing with the templates, what to give them, how to deal with the opposition, because always there's some type of opposition. And remember, when you're getting opposition, check your attitude, because a lot of opposition, most of the opposition comes from your perception of the people you're dealing with. In this community, in this space, a lot of people have a negative look at the people in government. And you have to remember, these people are doing a job. They went to school. They believe they're doing something right in their mind from their world perception. That's what they think. So if you come at them with hostilities, you're going to be met back with hostilities. Even if you have that thought in your mind, it can help. It could possibly get you rejected. Yes, some places are tougher than others, but remember, you are the creator of all things you are experiencing, and take responsibility for that. All right. I know on the screen you guys see my Department of State authenticated passport application. Now,
Akeem, I just want to interrupt real quick. We see a big old business meeting is being recorded.
Yes, it is being recorded.
No, it's a big old sign in the middle of the screen that says that.
Okay. Is everybody else having that issue?
Just hit continue. You should see something.
Oh, just hit continue.
Yeah.
That's because they're trying to record it too, and they need your permission to do that.
Yeah, they gotta. Whenever I hit record, it's gonna make everybody agree that they want to be recorded. So
acknowledged. Thank you.
All right, that's why you have that there. All right. Where was I? All right. This process, I would like for everyone, a few of you, I know you already done my passport process. I don't know if everybody's done it, but this is to be done after you do the passport process, if you can. Some of you guys got issues with the IRS, got issues with child support that will not allow you to get a passport until that is rectified. So one of the documents you're going to be submitting is your authenticated copy of your passport application, along with the other stuff I'm going to show you. So that's what I'm adding to it. Plus, I changed the language in some of the documents, and I'm also adding years ago we talked about the injunction. So that has been changed. It's kind of, you can still look at it like an injunction, but that is going to be an option you can include with submitting your paperwork. All right. Someone said they're waiting for 2 months for the authentication. Yes, authentication takes a while. Sometimes they call you, and if you don't answer, they'll send you a letter. But it took me 3-4 months to get mine back. And COVID has not been helping that situation out at all. All right. So let's go to, close the screen out. Let's go here. I'm going to share the screen in a minute. As soon as all right. Every state, well, I won't say every. Yes, Michael, you have to request your authentication. All right, let's go over here, share the screen. All right, this is an article that came out in February 6th of 2018, which is funny that it let me make sure this, are you guys seeing that screen with the woman's driver's license, the head?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, good.
Yes, I can.
All right.
It's cut off. Are we supposed to be seeing the full license?
Well, it's cut off because I
Okay.
have to scroll through it. You should be seeing me scrolling now. You good?
Good.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So This is the article. And on this article, it explains how in North Carolina, they passed a bill for the American Indians to have a designation on the driver's license. They can opt in to do that. Then I went and researched one or two more states, and guess what? Pretty much all of them had the option to self-identify who you are and have it on your driver's license. Now, one of the pitfalls is, which we all know, is that is that they only leave a certain designation for you to check off. And we all know why that is, right? They want you to fit into one of their U.S. citizen titles. And my old teaching is don't fit into a U.S. citizen title. Hang on, there's someone trying to get in here. I don't know. I know there's a couple of extra double entries in here. Hang on a second. Let me there was a representative who was he was part of a tribe, and he lobbied to get these designations for his people, American Indians. Well, we all know who the real American Indians are, right? When you look at a person of color, or what we call them black, most likely they are an American Indian. An American Indian is not the true name. It's just what they put on it, and then under it you have the tribes. If you guys noticed, when I did the CDC video and showed all those little tribes, those are the real names. American Indian is just a title they created because they could not get all of those titles into their system, or it would take them. It can be done, but it would take a lot of time and money to get that, get their computers. So they just picked one designation, which is American Indian or Alaska Native. All right, so in this article, it says state law requires that when you apply for a driver's license that you provide a physical description, including your gender, height, eye color, and hair color. The answer to those questions appear on the license itself. License also used to include race with the option of picking one of three categories: black, white, and other. And when they, just to stop right there, when they say black, white, and other, they are locking you in to what they perceive who you are. And that's against your rights, because you have a right to say who you are. They don't have a right to tell you who you are. And for years, we've been allowing them to psychologically deceive us into checking off one of these boxes because we felt like we had no other choice. You see what I'm saying? So, but you have choices. And the law is clear, because I'm going to pull out some of these laws and show you in these states, they actually say you have an option to self-identify. In the late 1980s, the State Division of Motor Vehicles decided that vague notation was not needed to meet the law's requirements for a description of the driver, and race was removed from the license starting in January 1990. Now, I know why they probably removed it, because once they identify who people really are, then they realize what jurisdiction they fall in. So if they get you to pick one of theirs, then everybody's assumed to be in their jurisdiction, so they can start writing tickets. They can do whatever they want to you. So, but 3 years later, State Rep Ronnie Sutton, a Democrat from Robeson County, filed a bill that would require a person's race be listed on the driver's license. Sutton, a member of the Lumbee tribe and the only Native American legislator at the time, said that for American Indians, the notation was important in establishing their identity and preventing confusion about their background. So he did this because he didn't want confusion, because they have certain rights. See, the American Indian even has their own Supreme Court. So they're a government running side by side with the current government. But most people don't know their own lineage, so they don't attach themselves to that government. The bill had the support of the State Commission of Indian Affairs. Gregor Richardson, the commission's current executive director, says it's still important to Native Americans to be able to establish their identity on the license, the way many military veterans opt to put the veteran designation on theirs. The General Assembly chose to make race an option on the driver's license at the request of the applicant. Driver's license examiners are not required to ask a customer for his race unless the customer asks for it to appear on the license, said the DMV spokesman, John Brockwell. So they're saying they're going to just automatically, and I know this for a fact, because when I first started this process in October of 2018, and funny about it is this article came out in January of 2018. I knew nothing about this article at that time. And I decided to go in there and do that. They'll automatically check off a box, look at you, and check a box off for you. Which there's all kind of problems with that. You know, someone assuming who you are, right? So let me continue. And in fact, only a tiny fraction of drivers ask for their race to be included on their license. Of the more than 8 million people carrying a North Carolina driver's license or ID last month, only 98,248 or 1.2% listed the person's race according to DMV statistics. Okay? So about a quarter of the people who chose to put race on their license were Native Americans, so 25%, in a state where they account for just 1.6% of the population. So these people, their nationality is important to them. Now, of course, they're using the word race. We're talking about nationality. In 2016, the General Assembly amended the law to make the designation clearer, allowing American Indians to include the abbreviation AI instead of I for Indian on their license. So what this is telling you that you can actually go and have lobby for your designation to be on there. It don't have to be just American Indian. If you want more, you can put that on there, right? Now, their computers are not set up for, may not be set up for you to put more on it, but I'm seeing down in the future, we can demand that they open it up so that the designations that you want are on there, okay? And it says, I think most American Indians are requesting that it be put on there. Richardson said it's a way of recognition of holding on to that status in our society. See, he called it a status. It came from race to status. And when it comes to status, that's everything's important. Status on how you are looked at on your passport, driver's license, Social Security Administration forms, and everything else. Status in the courtroom. All right. It is also important to have when American Indians hand their license to a police officer, which is in traffic tickets and other citations, often lists a person left. Race. Why would they bring that up if it wasn't important? So the question oftentimes is, where does the officer get the race from? He said, others should not be deciding what someone's race is. It ought to be up to the individual. And that ends it right there on that article. So this is what this is for. How do you, making sure that even though they may not have a designation specifically for you, you're going to be supplying documents that have your specific designation on it. All right. Read that scripture and that kind of like, how would he curse a tree that wasn't bearing fruit, but it wasn't supposed to be bearing fruit? Now, when I heard Reverend Ike preach on it, he said, well, anything that doesn't produces any fruit, what's the use for it? He went to the tree to get the fruit. There was no fruit. And he said, may no one get fruit from you. So let's look in our life. How many times, or apply it to yourself? Maybe you're the tree. Maybe it's the message in that is that you're the tree that is supposed to bear fruit, but all you have is leaves. All you have is, what are leaves? You keep, the leaves weren't edible. He was looking for the fruit. Are you just a person who just stands there and just look pretty, look handsome, but you're not bearing any fruit? You're not producing anything of value. And what I mean by of value, are you producing anything value for yourself, for self-improvement? Because in order to improve anything, you have to improve yourself. The first job that you have is to improve yourself, to make yourself better for yourself so that you can be better for the world. All right, testing. Mic's working. All right, good. Yo, today was something for real. So I hope everybody's doing good, but I had to make a run. I had to make a run to the border between North Carolina and South Carolina, which is about 2 hours and some change away from my house. Had to make a mad dash for real. Cause, Sunday I broke out my Santa Ana. So I had to go get another bottle. And it's only one place that I know that I can get it. And that's right on the border of North and South Carolina at this liquor shop. A Latino, he owns it. He put me on to this. He put me on, and I called him. I said, do y'all have any more of that Santa Ana? And the girl said, yeah, we got some. We got 2 bottles. I said, do me a favor. Can y'all hear me? Because somebody said volume 0. Can y'all hear me? Hold on. What's going on with my fix that. We good on volume before I go in? Somebody text me or hit me in the chat. Indy Circle, just give me a text real quick. You got my number. How's my vibe? Oh, they said they can hear me. Good. All right, so she said she had 2 bottles. So, of course, my daughter didn't go to school at her regular time because they're doing some testing. So she went to school later, so that pushed my time out. So I went up there, got there. She thought she had 2 bottles. She only had 1. She had another bottle that looked similar to this one. And it was Puerto Rican rum. I didn't get that one. I've had that one before, and it's good. The labeling looks similar to this one. It's good, but this one here is good. So I was gonna wait. I've already poured some out for the ancestors in my altar over there. So I got it over there. The ancestors got to get theirs first. Grandmama got to get hers. My grandmother, I love her to death. She loved the juice. She loved it. That's what she did. So I have to pour some out for her. And this is mine. Now, this is 138 proof. I do not mix it up. I drink it straight. And I might have poured a little bit too much, but let's see what I do tonight with that. So, let me take my first swig. Let's see how it hit. Ooh-wee. Ooh, we're gonna have a good show tonight. All right. Before I go in, I got a seminar. Let's see if I can get the picture up. Is this the one? Yeah. There it is. The dates, times. Get on my email list. Go to email.com. Put your, this one. Put your email in so I can get your email. Remember, I had to do some transition. I had some transition issues. Make sure you're getting my emails. And I sent the email about this seminar for March 29th and the 30th. It's going to be fire. So I hope you guys are going to be there. It's going to be fire. Trust me when I say that. Because I've been holding back, right? I really have. And I'm discovering a lot of backstabbers. Like, for instance, just somebody that was in my group, he got a whole website trying to duplicate what I'm doing. And now the feds is on him. See, let me tell y'all something about some of us are just special. Not because we're better than anybody, it's because some of us are just special because the reason why we're special, we follow the spirit. We follow what the call is. We answer the call. And you could be special too if you answer the call, but you ain't answering. A lot of y'all not wanting to answer the call. I can't, it's too early to get up to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to go study. I need my sleep. You got excuses. Oh, I got to take the kids to this, and I got to do this. I got to do that. The scripture's clear. Put forth the kingdom of heaven first, and all these things will be added to you. You got to get that. So because I put the kingdom of heaven first, which is the kingdom of higher consciousness first, I look for the higher knowledge first, then everything just comes from that. And then I do stuff like this. I pull out for my ancestors. I'm not even going to tell y'all what I'm going to do because I don't want the evil eye to be mixing me up. Nah, I do things. Leading up to this New Year's ritual we're doing tomorrow at 11 p.m., by the way. If you're not part of my Telegram channel, it's in there. And I sent an email out about it. Because I respect. I realize that this is a privilege that I'm doing. This is a privilege. I've been given the privilege to be able to speak this way, to talk this way. And for years, I had my tongue tied up. But it was tied up for a reason. It was like, no, not yet. But it's untied now. See, what y'all gonna get now is a mixture of the how I was when I first started. I used to cuss people out on my show who came in not correct. Y'all gonna get a mixture of that along with a little politeness, just a little bit of softness to the cuss out. Like tonight, I'm gonna cuss out some people in a polite way. For real. And men, see, I can't address the women because I'm not a woman. I let women address women's issues. But I'm going to address some of our men's issues. Some of y'all are just straight bitches. I mean, I just want to call it out like that. And I don't care if you're getting offended. Because when a man tells you that he don't have time right now to do something, and he'll take care of it on a certain time. And everybody who has worked with me know that I'm a man of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And if I can't do it, I'll tell you, hey, I can't do it at this time, but I'll have you done by such and such and such. Right? But then you're calling me, you're emailing me. Oh, like the world is going to end. You trying to make your problems my problem now. And trying to force me into doing something. That shit ain't gonna work with me. And if anybody, y'all go back to listen to me back when I first started, the people used to be afraid to get on and ask me a question. For real. Because I had no filter. And Santa Ana is right now is letting the filter loose. And I'm gonna take another shot because I need it. No filter. Oof. She coming. She here. Brothers, y'all complain about how y'all getting treated by the lady. Excuse me, a little crumb. Getting treated by the ladies. But y'all not acting honorable. Y'all not acting like men. Men don't be stressing like that. Men know when shit is going to get done. We don't have to beg for it, push, we don't have to do that. And as a man, if you know I do my show every Tuesday, you would stop and think, wait a minute, that brother's doing this show. I'm not going to intrude on his headspace because he's about to deliver a message for everybody to see and hear. Let me not interrupt them with my drama. But because you can't see that, you can't get that, you don't have the wherewithal or the manliness to even think like that, I have to tell you this. Do not contact me on my show day with your bullshit or your problems. I don't mind helping y'all. I don't. I will help you. But when I see that type of behavior, I will cut you off and I will not accept your money. I've done it many of times. I've turned down so much money because the energy that comes with that money, I don't need it. I like good energy money. I like money that duplicates itself. And that kind of energy don't duplicate itself. I take your money and the energy that go with it, it's going to interfere with the other millions of dollars that's coming my way. Nah, that change ain't going to mess with my millions. Oh no, it's not going to happen that way. But brothers, y'all got to tighten up. Stop looking at these women so much as the problem. Look at yourself as the problem and figure that out. It is not our place as men to fix women's problems. That's what they got women for. They deal with they deal with their shit. We don't deal with that. We don't even have to talk about it. We don't have to complain about it like that. Is there issues? Yes, there are, but I can't fix them. Know who I can fix? Myself. I become the man that I need to be. And from that behavior will bring me the right woman in my life. I've learned that the hard way. See, when I had a bad woman in my life, because I wasn't bad, I was behaving bad. I had misconceptions and all of these crazy ideas. But good behavior, your proper behavior, manly behavior brings a good woman to you, the right one. See, I said the other day, which was Sunday, I said we're very simple. We look at this physical thing and all we thinking about is getting that, right? Let's call it what it is. Let's be real, right? We think about, we want to hit it. That's it. That's our first thought as men. Now I'm older, so that is a thought, but I got a lot of other thoughts that go with it. I'm more mature now. But when I was a kid, that's young, that was it. Oh, I got this fly honey, she with me, and that's all I'm thinking about. How she looking? Was she with me? I got this good looking. That's it, like a trophy. And this is why, because we think like that, this is why we have jacked up relationships, because we're not thinking properly. We're not thinking that we want a woman with some wisdom, as the Bible calls it, because the Bible calls wisdom, personifies a woman or wisdom as a feminine quality. And I can see why. Because through the woman, everyone gets here. We can't get here without her. Through that divine portal, that divine womb, no one gets here without the woman. I know the Bible said a woman came from the ribs. Y'all heard me say this before. I question that because I've only seen or know, and I know for a fact that we only get here by way of the feminine aspect of our existence, the divine feminine. That's how we get here. And I can see why the Bible would say that wisdom is a feminine quality, because a woman has to have wisdom in order to choose the right mate to be able to procreate or produce another human being with. And as you can see, if you look out there, when that wisdom is not exercised in the feminine aspect, we get a lot of the problems we have right now. Why don't they have the wisdom? Because they're not being taught. They're not given proper wisdom it's not being passed down. See, what we're doing is we're holding people responsible for things when from the very beginning they were not given the tools or the information or the wisdom to even operate on. So if the woman doesn't have a proper guidance, what do you think is going to happen? Same thing with us men. If we don't have the proper guidance, I know I didn't have the proper guidance. The only guidance I got was, to serve God, and that's it. Please him. And your woman is supposed to be in subjection to you because you the husband, you the man. Just because you the man, you get carte blanche, headship. Wait a minute. That's a really fucked up idea. Here's why. Because you giving this young guy all of this power without even training him how to be a leader. Because a true leader knows he doesn't rule with force or from a place of pride. A true leader knows how to step back and let someone else lead. A true leader we can see the power in a woman, and hey, that's you got that. Go run with that. I got your back. A true leader, even when you're challenged by the female or the woman you're in, remains unfazed and still moves in his full masculinity. Understanding how the power of the male, the strength that we have, and being able to restrain it. That's strength. Knowing you have the power to do certain things and not use it. Isn't that God? Isn't that? I'm just coming from the Christian's perspective, right? God has all this power. He's all knowing. He could do this. He could wipe you out at any moment, but he never exercises that power. Why? Why? Because understand the weaknesses. We understand that a lot of the information we're buying into is BS, for one thing, and we've been mistaught. For real. So I named this show. It seemed like every time I take a sip, it's like I never took a sip. I named this show Sovereign Rhetoric is Trash or whatever. And why did I name it that way? And I hope the brother is listening, because I'm not going to put your personal stuff out there, but I'm going to read some of this stuff in these affidavits and show you how it's sovereign citizen rhetoric. But before I do that, I want to read something to you. Oh, thank you. People, I saw my text messages. Said the volume is good. All right. I'm going to read something to you. First, to help you understand how serious this is when you going into court with your sovereign citizen nonsense. And most of the stuff y'all watching on YouTube, let me tell y'all something. You're not going to get real answers on YouTube. You'll get clues. But you're not going to get like the depth of what you need to know. Like I've gotten on like TikTok and people send me stuff. Someone sent me some stuff that had some real good information, which is very rare. Like when people send me stuff, a lot of times it be BS, but that's how I know who I'm dealing with. Like by the stuff they're sending me. You send me something and I'm like, this is bullshit, right? And then I see something. I said, wait a minute, this got something to it. It may not be all the way on point, but it got something to it. See, that's how I know I can build with. That's who I know who I can build with. But 99.9% of the time, people send me straight bull. For real. But this week, somebody sent me something on someone sent me something on trust and how to organize it. And I was listening to the brother. And I've actually seen that video before in the past, but I never like watched it all the way through. I got distracted. So I watched it all the way through this time, and he said some really good things that I know would be effective in setting up a trust. Then it was one more video. I'm trying to think what that subject of that was. But that's not what I'm here to talk about right now. But let's talk about this sovereign citizen stuff that people keep trying to put in their paperwork. And I can understand that you might not even think of it as a sovereign citizen stuff because you're listening to these people tell you to put all of this stuff, put all of that crap. Listen. Santana, where do I need to go with this first? Okay, I'm going to go here first. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this here, right here. Oh, Sovereign Citizen Movement Overview and Law Enforcement Response. I've told you guys this like over and over again that these guys got bulletins. They got notes on all of this bull that people are telling y'all to go do in court and put in y'all paperwork. Okay? Before I even go read this, let me help you understand something. Y'all need to go watch some movies. The Matrix is a good example. Whenever they switched up and went into the Matrix, they looked like everybody else until they did something out of the ordinary. And that's how y'all got to go into the court. Y'all got to go in there covert. And yes, you can claim that you're not the straw man without actually saying the word straw man. I've like read that on many shows on how to separate yourself from that Enslegis. ENSLEGIS. I've actually showed you like read stuff like, okay, you do it to say it this way. This way, it looks like their paperwork, but in the wording, you got specific references to separate yourself. Now you're not pulling yourself into that jurisdiction of being that all cap name. And I'm telling you, when you do it this way, they treat you different. They don't treat you and give you hostilities. When you do it, see, you politely tell them. See, the problem what I see in a lot of paperwork, you want to teach these people how to interpret the law. They went to school. Do you think they want to listen to you, who probably don't even have a college education, tell them about how the law is? Not saying there's anything wrong with not having a college education. I'm just trying to give you the perspective of how they're looking at you. See, whenever you go to war with anything, you must know your opponent. When a guy is fighting, he studies his opponent, how he punches, how he moves, how he ducks. And he looks for weaknesses. What I'm seeing from you guys, y'all going into court and they ain't studied shit. You don't even know your opponent. First of all, you don't even know yourself. You don't even know how you're going to act when you get in the courtroom. You haven't even prepared yourself to even speak in that courtroom. Before I go into any courtroom, I can have all the paperwork I have, but I'm calling down the ancestors. I'm calling by everybody to help me. So when I walk in there's a lot of with you spirits right there, standing right there next to me. Got my back, and I know they there. Oh, Akeem talking that spirit stuff. I know that offends the Christian mindset, but hey, y'all already know where I'm coming from. If it's bothering you, y'all can go to listen to what's his name, TD Jakes. Who's it? Kirk Franklin. Who these other guys? Y'all can go get that feel good message over there. Yeah, I mean, listen, I have respect for my ancestors, and I believe, and I know that they protect me. It's better than believing this guy y'all been talking about that's been waiting to come and allowing slavery, allowing pedophilia, and allowing all kind of stuff to go on. But he gonna come at his appointed time. But you don't know the day, the time, but he's coming. He coming though. See, in my line of thought, how I work, they already here, assisting me daily. Right? Showed me where true God power was. I know that all of this stuff been transformed into a situation to make you dependent. And this is why some of y'all are so dependent on me to help y'all. Y'all don't know what to do. And I really despise that. I really don't like to see that in men when y'all act like that. You know what? Come to think of it, I don't know any sisters I've ever dealt with that act like that. listen, problems, man, stuff is coming at us all the time. And I can't for 1 minute allow my family to see me falter in these things. Even though I'm dealing with some stuff, I would never go throw that on my daughter or anybody in my life, because I already know they are not the ones who's supposed to handle it. They can't handle it. They wouldn't know what to do with it if I throw all of the burdens of what I think about or what I go through on their shoulders. We have to have the wisdom as men not to throw those things out there. Oh, I need to, oh, my woman, she won't listen. She ain't got that. I'm sorry. Her shoulder is not for you to cry on. You the fortress, you the wall, you the barrier between the outside forces in your home. And you get seen breaking down. Huh? In the time of battle? Nah, it's time to get stronger and show your strength. I'm not saying that, crying is a problem. What I'm saying, there's certain things in certain situations you don't show that weakness. You got to be strong. And if you're going to decide to buck up at the police and not follow what they saying you because you want to exert your constitutionally protected rights, that battle comes with a lot of stuff. And what I'm seeing is a lot of y'all are not ready, but y'all going into these battles. And then when you go into these battles, y'all coming to me like, oh, what do I do? Wait a minute. You went into that battle and you ain't know what to do? Yeah, I appreciate the consultations. I appreciate the money. But you decided to go into that battle. You decided not to give up the driver's license. You decided to refuse those orders. I'm not saying that you refusal is wrong. But it's time, hey, this is you at war now. You asked for it. See, it's put simply like this. If you sit there and ask for the true assistance of your ancestors and the true God in you, you'll get the answers. You won't even need me. How I know? Because that's how I operate. Let me ask you, who do I go to for a consultation to help me with something? Who out there that I can actually get on the phone and say, listen, man, I need you to help me with my case. So the point I'm trying to make, if I can do it, you can do it. There's nobody I need to go to what's the name website, set up a consultation and get his help. Because my true help comes from a higher source. That's what I rely on. And I just gave y'all the gold. I gave y'all the secret of where you can get all of your information. Now, can we build together? Yes, we can. There's still some people, I build with people all the time and they give me stuff. They send me something else. Okay, that's good. That's something to look into. All right, so let's look at the sovereign citizen thing. It said the sovereign citizen movement is a loosely affiliated anti-government extremist ideology based on the belief that individuals can declare themselves independent of the government and its laws. See, now I'm reading something and I'm going to break down the truth and the untruths, right? We are always, we're born where? We have unalienable rights. That means by definition, we are separate from the government. So right there, that's BS, right? And the laws that they create, like the Constitution, the true law, was created to protect the people from the government. This is why law enforcement must take an oath, because their oath is, I am going to defend this Constitution, work within the guidelines of the Constitution, protect the people's rights. That's their job. That's what they took the oath to, not the codes and statutes and policies they create. Sovereign citizens claim that they are not subject to federal, state, or local laws taxation or regulations. There's some truth to it. If you're a U.S. citizen, you're responsible for taxes. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you're not responsible for taxes. But if you create entities that is already written into the code or written into the trust indenture that are recognized as tax exempt, then you have no problem. See, this is why you have to put the kingdom of heaven first. Create your church, your temples, your synagogues, and your mosques, so that you won't have to worry about that. And if you're operating fully out of your religious beliefs in all you do, even in your commerce and in your business, the government can't touch your money. I mean, big businesses are doing this anyway, right? They do it in a different way. They do it under the demands code, meaning they'll create a business and then create a foundation. And then they'll donate to their own foundation, and therefore all of that money is tax exempt. I'm just teaching y'all how to do it on y'all church level. Well, you think Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is there to help the public, really? Or is it really to help them so that they don't have to pay as much taxes as they should be paying? And then when you understand how foundations works and how the money, very little bit of the money goes to the actual cause, as long as they stay within the guidelines of what the code says of what they can use or what they can call an expenditure of the foundation, they're good. I'm not teaching y'all to do something out of the ordinary. It's just done in different ways and different methods, right? So back to that. Back to what I was talking about. They often reject the authority of courts, police, and other governmental institutions. Core beliefs of sovereign citizens. While beliefs vary among members, some common themes include the U.S. government is illegitimate and has been operating under maritime admiralty law since the early 1900s. I really hate when they preach that, like when sovereign citizens talk, oh, it's admiralty, it's maritime. I stay away from that, because I haven't found anything of substance to even prove that. But anyway, people can declare themselves sovereign, opting out of laws, taxes, and government oversight. And technically, you can declare yourself sovereign by creating your church, because that's sovereign. Because that's one of the entities that the code says is mandatory, like a mandatory exception, where they don't have to file anything. That's sovereign by definition. That is sovereign. See, although I'm reading this, I'm also breaking down and letting y'all know that the problem is not that you're not sovereign. The problem is you don't know how to express your sovereignty. And when you express your sovereignty in what I'm about to read, you're always going to get shut down. I want y'all to know that you are sovereign. Every man, woman, and child is sovereign, because the Constitution told you were sovereign. It says you have unalienable rights, meaning you're a sovereign that cannot be violated, no matter what law they make. It said every man is endowed with rights that are unalienable. That means that every man is sovereign by definition under God, whoever you choose it to be. But see, they coined the phrase sovereign citizen. That's what you don't want to be. See, you notice I didn't use the word citizen. I said sovereign, and that's all I said. I just say anything about sovereign citizen. I said you are sovereign, but you're not a sovereign citizen. Okay. See, this is how they bastardize these terms. They'll add a word and put citizens and call you that. It's just like calling you African American, calling you out your true nationality. They call you white, black, all of these things. See, you have to understand the word theory or the double speaking that they do. See, that's a form of double speaking when they use the word sovereign citizen. They made that up. And then they label people who do certain things as that. And right, somebody said sovereign citizen is an oxymoron. It's absolutely, because you being a citizen and sovereign, they don't go together. You see? All right. People well, I read that. The straw man theory, they believe the government creates a separate artificial legal identity for each citizen at birth. Yes, they do. For sure they do. I mean, if it wasn't true, it wouldn't be in my Black's Laws dictionary. I've read that to you many times. Do I have to go get the Black's Laws dictionary again and read it? I've read it so many times. It's in there. If it wasn't true, hold on. And while I'm pulling this out, y'all got to start investing in your knowledge, right? This is the 3rd edition Black's Law Dictionary. I paid some money for this because this is not easy to find. Let's read it again. Oh, it's almost 8 o'clock. I still got a little bit left in here. Let me go. Y'all know I don't end the show until I finish it, right? Ooh-wee. I'm sorry, y'all. All right. Ens Ligas. I still ain't get to the paperwork. All right. There it is right there. Ens Ligas. Let me hold so y'all don't think I'm making stuff up. See if I can get it on camera. I can't see if y'all can see that. Let me move this out the way. Right there. I want everybody to see it loud and clear. Right there on the internet. There it is. And I'm going to read it. It says Latin. That's a Latin word. And that's another thing. They speak Latin in court. I know y'all looking at English words, but they really speak Latin. That is the language that they're speaking. And if you invoke a motion, find the Latin words for that motion and speak that. I'm stopping right there. That was Santa Ana. She told me to tell you that. Right? And watch what happens when you do that. Okay. A creature of the law, an artificial being as contrasted with a natural person, applied to corporations considered as deriving their existence entirely from law. So if they created a birth certificate, they created a social security number that is derived from the law or the statutes or the codes and statutes. So that makes that an artificial being. Okay? So let them, I know that says, oh, they believe this. Yes, it's the truth. And if it wasn't the truth, I've seen them shaking their boots when I made sure that I wasn't that. But I didn't go in there like y'all did. I remember when I first did my first case and got my ass handed to me. Listening to y'all know who, right? I went in there, oh, this is Akeem Barber doing business at Akeem Barber. How do I even distinguish that that's the illegal when I say it like that? But I believed them. This is why I'm talking like this, and I'm being rough on you brothers, because I did that nonsense in the past, 10 years ago, in a North Carolina court and got my ass handed to me. And I said, and then when I called them up, hey, this is what happened. You did this wrong. And I said to myself, I'm never going to let that happen to me in the court ever again. So that's when I went in and I studied. And I realized a lot of that stuff, that rhetoric they were preaching was wrong. So I don't tell you this stuff is wrong because I just say it's wrong, because I already did that
Everything y'all send me, I've seen it before. Why? Because I did it in my paperwork. And when that judge had his way with me, I didn't know any rules of the court. I didn't know anything about that playground I was going in. But I was letting them tell me what to do. This is why I tell you, don't do what these guys are telling you what to do, because all it's going to do is give you problems, because I got problems. When I did it, what happened? Hang on. Something changed here. My screen changed up. So it went into dark mode. I don't know why, but many refuse to pay taxes, obtain driver's license, register vehicles, or comply with the court orders. That's another thing. They don't want to register the vehicles, don't want to put the tags on it. Let me tell you something. Those techniques, the only reason why you don't want to register your vehicle, put tags on it, because you got money problems. You don't want to pay the bill. Let's call it what it is. I'm all for prosperity. So trying to do that process strictly on not having to pay the bill is not a good reason to do it. And that's why most people are drawn to this, because they don't have the money, or they don't have the money consciousness. So they try to figure out ways not to pay their mortgage, pay their rent. And then they get thrown on the street and they want to know why. I was working with someone some years ago. This woman had 11 properties and she refused to follow my directions. And now she's living in a trailer, like not a trailer, like one of the ones you pull with a pickup truck. She lost all of the properties. And I said that would happen. I said, if you keep going down that road, you're going to lose the properties. She had rentals, but she believed everybody else. Everybody was telling her to do this and do that and do that. Listen to them. Listen. I said, listen, okay. And after a while, when you're out, I stopped taking her money because she wasn't listening. I said, listen, why are you paying me? You're not listening. So, I mean, even got nasty with me a few times. Now living in one of them little small trailers that you pull with a pickup truck. And so many others is the bank done took the house, just ain't put them out of it yet. Following these methods. So many other people going to prison following these methods. I think I've read enough on that. Let's read the thing, because I got to get off here. Let's read like this. And I'm only reading this because the brother know he needs help. I'm just going to point out what's wrong. So let's see what I can read without. I am not saying the man name. The man in capacity as American national, but not a citizen of the United States. That's fine. But then you put in Congress assembled. That's not necessary. Indian knock tax. That wasn't necessary either. This is a traffic case. When you're dealing with anything, when it comes to court, less is more. The shorter, the quicker you get to the point, the better off you are. Because here's what happens. They don't read this stuff. They start seeing that funny business in there. They stop reading. You got to think. They're seeing hundreds of people a day come through those courtrooms. You think they're really reading all your paperwork? No. I have a method of madness that I use when I deal with them, because I exploit the weaknesses of that. They deal with so many people. And I won't go into that. I'm not allowed to tell you that. But my method is so effective that when I'm helping people, they just like, is this simple? Yes, it is this simple. The truth is simple. Lies is complicated. Lies come in big books. Truth comes in little books. Okay? Hereby acknowledge and accept for value, with full faith and credit and public oath of affirmation of office and allegiance to the United States of America and the state of all. I mean, what is all of that for? This is a traffic case. You accept for value what? What does that even mean? You accepting their oath for value? Explain that to me. Anybody, tell me, what does that mean that you accepted their oath for value? Know why that's in there? Because some dude told them to put that in there. Accept this oath for value. And after that, what happens? Here's the test of if any of this work when somebody teaching you this. Ask them to show you proof that they got wins. They'll never show it to you. Here we go. Here we go. Including any surety, commercial bond, or the like. I invoked and hold accountable all public officials, servants, agents. Now, this is supposed to be an affidavit. An affidavit is supposed to just state the facts of the incident. That's it. Not all this other stuff. Because what you're saying up here is not factual. So how do you substantiate what you're saying? Somebody said a fool for that. Don't go on him. I'm already going in on him hard enough right now. So trust me. I don't need you added to it. Let me take that down. Hold on. Accountable public. I'm still waiting for the and this is called the affidavit of rebuttal and objection and presumptively reasonably determines the probate probable cause and acknowledgement of public oaths and affirmation. Oh, come on. Too much in that title. It's affidavit of facts to the incident. You might want to get a pen about what I'm about to say. Affidavit of facts to the incident dated blah blah blah. Date whatever the date is. That's it. This other stuff unnecessary. And public oaths. See, y'all hear these guys talk about, oh, let me get their oath for office and all that. That's why judicial notice is important, right? If I say take judicial notice of the Constitution, take judicial notice of the oath. What does judicial notice means? It means that they're going to take, the court shall take notice of anything that can't be disputed. That is a fact. So it's a fact that they take oaths, right, to the Constitution. So I'll just say take judicial notice of the Constitution. That simple. It's called take judicial notice of adjudicative facts. That's it. But see, how do I know that? I studied it. I read it. I went to their rules and read it. So if I want to get the court to take notice of something, motion the court to take notice of something and use it as a fact, I would tell them to take judicial notice. But when I say take judicial notice, it must be something so commonly known that it can't be disputed. So what is that? All officers take an oath to the Constitution. So that's a common thing. So that they will automatically take judicial notice. Why? Because I motioned the court to do it. Look it up. Judicial notice. You can see that. You go read that. Like, say if you're in a battle in court with child custody, whatever, and then the court ordered something, and then that order is not being followed. You say, court, take judicial notice of the fact that on this date, this order was said, but this person is not complying with it. In the order, say, yeah, okay, I take notice of that fact. That's evidence of the fact that that order is there, and this person is not complying with it. But it's not an end all be all. It's not like 100, that's going to make you win, but it's going to help you. Court is about evidence. And when you start talking about all this other stuff, let me skip down to some other stuff here. Maxims of law. And unrebutted after it becomes a judgment in commerce. See Hebrews 6:16. Let any proceeding in court, tribunal, arbitration form consists of contest or duel. What does that have to See, we're not in the business of teaching anybody law. And for one thing, you're not a lawyer, and you don't want to be, and you don't want to appear like you're acting like one. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not trying to act like one. But I will do this. I will make sure they understand that I know my rights. And I pigeonhole them into the Constitution. I move nowhere else. See, when you start putting all this other stuff, they can look at this and say, and ignore the constitutional part and just look at what you're talking about, maxims of law. That's not the Constitution. All this other stuff you're writing. I had somebody send me something. They had DB. They were writing an affidavit of what happened to them, and they wrote literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different people, and one of them was Donald Trump. I know they're going to flag this recording now. It said the president's name. Like, you had an issue, some infraction, some small misdemeanor thing, and you're writing Donald Trump? For what? Huh? This stuff like this is what I'm telling you. And then when I tell them that stuff is junk, they get mad at me. What do you mean? I know it works. How do you know it works? Give me the proof. Who it worked for? Who did it work for? What are you sending something to Donald Trump about a misdemeanor charge? Oh, maybe you're trying to get a pardon before you get there. I mean, get ahead of the game. I don't know. See, this is sovereign citizen. You put the name of the official doing business is this, and listen. Hindsight Radio, the crew, we were talking about this back in 2016, and I haven't used that stuff since then because I was following other people, and I realized that was garbage. I stopped doing it. Y'all remember the show I did, and I said, "Yo, I gotta apologize to you. I was following stuff that was kind of causing problems because I felt like." I trusted these people, but I realized these guys didn't know anything about rules and they didn't know the court procedure. When you're writing an affidavit, and if you really want to know how to do an affidavit, there's a show from many years ago, probably around 2019, in my archives right here on YouTube. Look at, and it has affidavits in the side title. I actually read the components of what a true affidavit is. An affidavit just states the facts of what happened. And you must show that you're competent to even make get it notarized, and now it's a fact. I'm not even going to read any more of this. Spirit says don't do it. I think I made the point. Somebody, Scale Boys, I got wins through you. What's up, Big Bun? What's going on, brother? See, I want y'all to go into other people's shows and see people actually saying that. Okay? That brother right now is running a very successful food truck out here in North Carolina. All right. Hey, put your food truck and where you be at in the chat. Somebody might be coming through North Carolina, want to check you out. That's what happens, man. When you dealing with people, and Scale Boys, he been with since the beginning. He watched me grow up in this game. What did he do? I ain't telling that man business about what he did. I'm not doing that. Just know, I just want to teach you on the substance of these affidavits. Now hopefully he'll take that and move on. Ooh. Oh my good. Ooh. Ooh. That ain't never hit me like that. Damn. I guess the show ain't over just yet. So tomorrow, 11 p.m. Eastern time. I'm sorry, when I sent the email out, I didn't make it clear whether it was Eastern time. Eastern time, I'm on the East Coast, 11 p.m. Eastern time. Join me on Zoom. And if you didn't get the email, get on my email list at akemail.com. I'll send it out again. Join us so we can fellowship. And all we're going to talk about is prosperity, money making. You know, we're not going to sit here and talk about, it's not a power hour to talk about your problems. If you got problems, hold it off to the next day. We'll talk about that. But the energy I want in the room is positivity. And we're going to have some special people in there that's going to be helping with that. All right? If the method don't involve good faith, I'm not doing it. Before I go, remember when I was doing my show Sunday and I had something I wanted to tell y'all and I forgot, like it slipped, like it went away. Well, I'm going to tell y'all now. I remember. And it had to do with the Bible. There's another industry that uses a Bible. And it's the filming industry. They call it a production Bible, where I'll actually read what it entails, a production Bible. Because I just want to show you how deep this rabbit hole is. Like when it comes to how you want to perceive that Bible that we call in the Word of God. Making movies and creating a production Bible, which I found to be interesting, right? Why I find it to be interesting is because the Book of Psalms is supposed to be authored by Shakespeare. That's what some people who research the Bible say. I don't know if that's a fact. They say that, but in a way, it makes sense. So let me show you what it entails. It says making a movie is a complex process that involves multiple stages, including development, pre-production, production, post-production, and distribution. A production Bible is an essential document that helps keep all aspects of the production organized, serving as a central reference for the entire filmmaking team. So let's connect that to the Bible. The Bible is a central book that involves the production of a society and organizes them in serving a central purpose. Just like the film industry uses a Bible to organize everything to developing stage. If you look at the Bible, it was used to develop our society into what it is today, even for the ones that don't believe in it. And think about it. If you look at most of these films, you could take an average film and go back to the Bible and find how it's a connection to the Bible. Like The Matrix. The Matrix is a direct connection. Neo was basically Jesus, right? Coming to save the world, right? And there's always a savior. Superman, same thing. Another personification of the Christ or Jesus. And you notice in all of these films, there's always some white guy that's the savior, right? When in reality, right? Like reality, when you compare a black man or a man of color to the Caucasian male on average, you know, the strength factor is unmatchable. I mean, just you could just see any physical sport and see that. Right? Yeah, you have some anomalies of stronger white males. Strong white males. But for the most part, we dominate any physical sport. But yet in the filming industry, they want to show only white males is strong. Because what does that do to your psyche? See, it makes you look at the white male as the strong and the black male as the weak, And this is why we have problems in our homes. Because the real strength, the real Superman is looked at as weak and a problem. And y'all think that's by accident? No, it's not. It's because the Bible that the film industry uses, see, they have a Bible for the whole, for particular films, but they got a Bible for the whole industry on how they gonna manipulate the minds of people. Just like the Bibles I got back here. And then every now and then, they make movies about the Bible to give it some validity. I keep telling you, the Bible has a copyright on it. Somebody owns the copyright and is profiting from it from every sale of it. And that ain't God, not the God they talking about. But yet they'll tell you it's ordained by God. God ordained that. God, that's God's book. Wait a minute. If it's God's book, then how come man is making profit and you got thousands and upon thousands of revisions of it? Right up here alone, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and not to mention 8, and some downstairs. And I'm ordering 2 more. That'll be 10 different versions of the Bible, but it's thousands of them out there. And all have that one thing in common. There is a publishing company that has a copyright on it. And I'm trying to get y'all to see something, not that you don't go read it. You always read. You always go read what your enemy is teaching. Oh, I know I hit them Christians in the gut right there. That's why I read it. I know I was raised as a Christian. That's my foundation. And I appreciate the foundation because it got me to speak like this. Going and knocking on people's doors and try to preach to them is what helped me with my rejection complex. I can deal with rejection easily because I got rejected so many times. I got teased when I got to school. Yeah, Akeem, we saw you out there knocking on the door and that man cussed you out. I remember one time we was knocking on the door. Me and this elder in the congregation went to this door and the man's wife had just died. And here we talking about God's goodness and resurrectionness and all of that stuff. And his wife had just passed. And we didn't know that. That man started off calm, and then his voice kept going up and up and up. Before you know, he was yelling, the whole block could hear it. And I'm standing there with the elder, and the elder looking like a deer caught in the headlights, and he didn't know what to fucking say. And we're sitting there. Then I looked out across the street. One of my classmates was looking out. I remember her, Angela. She was looking out, and she saw me. Hey, Akeem, what's up? Oh my God, I was embarrassed. And then I had to go to school and face that. Yo, I can't this and this and that. I had to deal with that. So rejection ain't nothing for me. It's a walk in the park. I appreciate that because that's training. I went through all of that. And when I hear people speaking and reading and stuff like that, They be reading all crazy. I be like, why ain't we? Because they wasn't trained. I was trained. I gave my first talk. They call them talks or sermon. You churches call them sermons at 8 years old. I read the Bible thoroughly before I was 10. I read it thoroughly again when I'm like right around 19. I read it again thoroughly, cover to cover. And I enjoyed it. Actually, I enjoy reading the Bible because the stories in there are enlightening. And let me tell y'all something. If you ever read the Bible, like really go and read that thing, you'll realize that it got every form of craziness ever known to man. It's got pedophilia in there. Got homosexuality in there. It's got sexual abuse in there. It's got trading husbands for drugs in there. Oh, yeah. I could take you to every scripture. It's got prostitution in there. The scripture where the woman covered her face because her husband died and she didn't want her husband's who had died. She was a widower. And, what is it? Widow? When it's a female? Well, I can't think right now, but y'all get my point. And her husband died. And she covered her face and sat in a place where the prostitutes would come. And her husband's father came and he gave her something to remember. She said, if you present this something, I can't remember. I'll read that story for y'all. See, y'all, they got y'all thinking covering the face meant, what do you call the purity of the woman? No, covering the face was to cover her face so that no one would know who she was because she was delving into prostitution. Oh, y'all forget about Mary. Who was she? They called her a harlot, but she was the most loved out of all of Jesus's disciples. Y'all didn't know that Mary was a disciple, right? Because they took that out. But they gave you clues of it in the modern Bibles because Mary and his mom was the only ones that followed him through his whole ordeal until the sacrifice. And they was the first two to see him get resurrected. A harlot, a whore. Huh? But yet, society today will look down on a prostitute or like she's this and that. But Jesus had many of them coming up to him while he was preaching. That also tells me that this so-called, the way they write Jesus, and let's change that up because you all know that that's a Inslius name, Jesus, to start with. Because there's no such thing as a J until 500 years ago. And if you read any of the original text, you'll know that. But there's a reason why they demonize women in the Bible. They got some that they give some credibility, but there's a reason why they hold back information from the woman about the women in the Bible. Because when the Catholicism got a hold of the Bible, they did some major revamping of it. And this is why they gave all the power to the patriarchy, which is the priest in there. And then they got their little altar boys and they praise homosexuality. Y'all understand that Catholicism, that's what it's really about? Under the guise as God. That's why they have Father, Son, Holy Ghost. They're following that painting of God in man, how God is reaching out to Adam on earth. And all you see around him is a bunch of men, naked men, half-naked men. That's why they wear dresses. It's been in your face the whole time. The founders of this country was nothing but a bunch of cross dressers. That's why they wore lipstick and had makeup on. Oh, whoa. Boy, this here. See, I'm only reawakening or awakening your mind to stuff you've been watching all the time. Christianity, this is why you got a lot of gay people in Christianity, because it's their religion. Do y'all know what they used to do to them altar boys? And if you ever went to college class, they'll teach you this when you get the history of music, how they used to castrate the young men so that they can sing the higher notes. But what they were also doing, they were castrating them and turning them into transgendered. They've been doing this transgender stuff for years. Hundreds of years. This transgender stuff ain't new. Y'all acting like it's new. It's old. It's old, ancient rituals. That white man always wanted to be looking like his woman. That's why they disrespect their women so much. Let me help you make this make sense. Horror movies. In any horror movie, the first female to get killed is a white woman. Now let's think about this on a psychological level. I have a daughter in there. There's no way I'm gonna make a film showing her being mutilated and just ravaged in all kind of grotesque ways. I couldn't even think about doing something like that. So that gives you the psychological mentality of this man who would put his woman on film and be ravaged like that. That has to be in his consciousness. I told you, I've been holding this back to telling you, Christianity at its foundation is a homosexual religion. I know that hits hard, but it's the truth. I could take you, go look at all of the statues. Go look at the paintings, pay attention. It ain't nothing but men and little boys. And then you look at the founding fathers of this country. They're wearing wigs and they got blush on and they got lipstick on and they wearing dresses. Transgender. This is why the whole woke movement came, just to bring it back, bring it to what they really want. All right, I've been told that's enough. Too much. I gave y'all enough for one night, and I got things to do. Sovereign citizen stuff is not going to work in a court case. Okay, you need to write. What do we call the word I want to use? Coherent paperwork, stuff that can be understood, and it must speak Latin. Okay. All right. Y'all go have a good night. I got things to do. Y'all need to share this. I know I'm gonna lose some of my Christian folks. I apologize already. No shit, no, I ain't apologizing for that. Y'all peace. Y'all have a good one. Read that scripture, that kind of like, why would he curse a tree that wasn't bearing fruit, but it wasn't supposed to be bearing fruit? Now, when I heard Reverend Ike preach on it, he said, well, anything that doesn't produces any fruit, what's the use for it? He went to the tree to get the fruit. There was no fruit. And he said, may no one get fruit from you. So let's look in our life. How many times, or apply it to yourself? Maybe you're the tree. Maybe it's the message in that is that you're the tree that is supposed to bear fruit, but all you have is leaves. All you have is, what are leaves? You keep, know, the leaves weren't edible. He was looking for the fruit. Are you just a person who just stands there and just look pretty, look handsome, but you're not bearing any fruit? You're not producing anything of value. And what I mean by of value, are you producing anything value for yourself, for self-improvement? Because in order to improve anything, you have to improve yourself. The first job that you have is to improve yourself, to make yourself better for yourself so that you can be better for the world.